A very warm welcome to our virtual fundraiser, I Breathe for India. We are here for one reason only, to harness the collective energy of everyone, individuals, celebrities, organizations, and NGOs, in accelerating the fight against COVID-19 in India.
This event was made possible because of the generous $1 million donation from our event donors, TIE, the Indus Entrepreneurs, which is an NGO that's empowering entrepreneurs globally. I'm Shamal Vallabhji.
And I'm Lara Datta, and we are your hosts for today. This event was put together in just 5 days, and it was only possible because of the collective energy of everyone coming together. इन 5 दिनों में बहुत से लोगों ने हमारी मदद की. देखते ही देखते सेलिब्रिटीज, स्ट्रीमिंग पार्टनर्स, ब्रांड्स और ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस इस मुहिम से जुड़ गए, क्योंकि ये लड़ाई हम सब की है और हम सबके लिए है.
Over the course of the next 2 hours, you're going to see some of your favorite actors, musicians, and sportsmen. Journalist Faye D'Souza is going to chip in with tiny bites about the reality. But I want you to remember, we're here for one reason only, to raise money for the campaign, I Breathe for India, that's working and empowering the amazing work being done by the Give India NGO, an NGO that's empowering more than 2,200 different NGOs on the ground in India.
जी बिल्कुल, हम सब यहाँ सिर्फ एक मकसद से आए हुए हैं, I Breathe for India. So without any further delay, let's go into the show. Who is revered as one of the greatest actors in the history of Indian cinema, a national treasure. He has been lauded by national and international governments by their highest civilian honors. A humanitarian who has worked tirelessly for the downtrodden and as well as the less fortunate amongst us. His work ethic, his discipline, and his complete dedication to all that he commits himself to makes him an icon for the younger generation. When he speaks, the world listens. And he's here for you today. Please welcome Mr. Amitabh Bachchan.
रुके न तू, धनुष उठा प्रहार कर, तू सबसे पहला वार कर. अग्नि सी धधक धधक, हिरण सी सजग सजग, सिंह सी दहाड़ कर, शंख सी पुकार कर. रुके न तू, थके न तू, झुके न तू, थमे न तू, सदा चले थके न तू, रुके न तू, झुके न तू. These words, written by my father, Dr. Harivansh Rai Bachchan, are a clarion call that reminds us to never give up. They were written at a time the country faced a different crisis and challenge. But even today, they resonate. I believe these words celebrate the spirit of the COVID warriors, our frontline workers, who, as we all know, are sacrificing so much for all of us. It is time we support them and bolster the fight against COVID. This is our fight, and we can all contribute in whatever way we can. We must come together. We must all come together for India. Namaskar.
बहुत कम लोग हैं जो इतनी गहरी बात इतनी सरलता से कर सकते हैं. अमित जी, आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. There is a donation link in the description below. And there are millions of people who really need our help right now. So please donate generously from the goodness of your heart, whatever it is that you can contribute.
Right now, we have a small message from Faye D'Souza, who's going to start breaking down what is actually happening in the country and how you can make a difference.
So, of all the help on the ground right now, there are a couple of things that are really working. From a government's point of view, setting up of triage war rooms where they call up every person who is COVID positive in a particular district and ask them a set of questions that allows the war room to categorize the individual into asymptomatic, mildly symptomatic, or someone who needs hospitalization. Then they're able to allot beds or ICU or oxygen based on the severity of the symptoms, and also give them ambulances to move the patient into the hospital. They're using technology right now to be able to track that process and the resources available. Now, while this has been done in some cities very successfully, cities like Ernakulam, cities like Mumbai have had a lot of success, it's going to be important to get the technology, the resources, and set up the war rooms in smaller cities, in tier 2, tier 3 cities and rural parts of India as well, in order to be able to manage resources better. Because when resources are managed like this, it puts less pressure on the hospital, the doctors, the oxygen and the ventilators, if everybody knows where everything is allotted. So it will be important and helpful to be able to allocate the resources better by setting up similar such triage war rooms in other parts of the country. Of course, the biggest help coming in from civil society and from people who are doing fundraisers right now is in delivering medical resources of oxygen cylinders, oxygen concentrators, of the medication that's necessary, in creating oxygenized ambulances from various vehicles that can move patients around. Remember, a lot of people in rural India don't have access to ambulances, and it's going to make a big difference to them. The next thing that's important is managing information. Social media has now become a sort of dumping ground for phone numbers. There's a lot of nefarious activity of cheating people in promising them oxygen cylinders, promising them remdesivir and taking money out of them. So actually, verifying information, putting out proper information, making sure phone numbers are actually verified is the third most important thing that's being done right now.
Give India to date have procured more than 9,500 oxygen concentrators. They've donated more than 5,000 cylinders to the Delhi government. They've built an oxygen bank in Bangalore, and they're accelerating getting much needed humanitarian need to the families that lost breadwinners to COVID and live under the poverty line. Give India have also generously waived all administration fees. And with our matching donor, every rupee we donate gets doubled and goes right down to the NGO that's making a difference. So please look for the link and donate generously. We need your support right now.
एक बेहतरीन एक्टर और उससे भी बेहतरीन इंसान. His filmography includes some truly inspiring works. We've loved him as Raj's super cool and progressive thinking father in everybody's favorite Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. We felt his angst as the father who loses his son in the acclaimed film Saransh. And we've lauded his work as Dr. Vijay Kapoor in the series New Amsterdam. Please welcome Mr. Anupam Kher.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, both of you. Wonderful work and wonderful initiative you people have started. And I'm sure this will help the needy. This will help. This will also encourage other people to come forward. I personally believe that everybody wants to give. Sometimes people are awkward. Sometimes people are shy. Sometimes people do not know how to go about it. So this initiative that you've started is going to help everybody.
Thank you so much, sir, for being with us here this evening. Sir, we've all been touched in one way or the other by this crisis. It has proved that it has no boundaries. Everyone has lost family members, relatives, friends, colleagues. And you've just penned a book about your experiences during the pandemic, which releases really soon. Can you share with us some personal experiences or maybe some personal stories of hope that you have encountered in the last 12 to 18 months?
My book did get released. It's doing very well. It's called Today is Your Best Day. So it came out of my fear of what I saw when I was in New York, when I got to know about this word pandemic. I come from a Hindi medium school. For a long time, I did not know what pandemic was. I had heard about epidemic, etc., etc. And when I took a flight from Newark, America and everything over there. I thought this is how they take situations. But then when I landed in Mumbai, and when I came out of the airport, then I thought that I was in a film. I was in a film of Will Smith, I Am Legend. That there is actually nobody. Now I have been in Mumbai for the last 40 years, never seen Mumbai like this. So a strange, unknown fear gripped me. And as an actor and as a person, whenever I'm fearful about something, I start writing, because that makes me, if I have difficult scene to do, if I have to do long speeches, I just write them down. And that's how the birth of the book happened. I'm an accidental author. I'm not a author who sort of sits down and decides to write. And I'm an eternal optimist also. For me, the ultimate definition of optimism is nothing is all wrong. Even a clock that has stopped running is correct twice a day. So I had to sort of write about, in this dark clouds, how can I see silver linings? Then my mother got COVID, my brother got, and my sister-in-law and their daughter. And then I had the first-hand account of what actually happens to the family who sort of goes through this COVID-19 problem. And my mother was taken to the hospital. My other family members were quarantining at home. My mother always thinks that Anupam Kher is my son. He will make things move. And it was with a sense of helplessness that I had to leave her at the emergency room, and then look back. And she sort of looked at me and she said, you were not able to drop me to the room. And every day I used to go and sit in the lobby, and that's where I saw a lot of compassion among people. What is this whole situation that we are going through needs, apart from, of course, equipment, apart from medical help, but what it needs is compassion and empathy. So while I was to be sitting in this lobby, there was this lady who had shaved her head, and we were all masked up, cap and things like that. And she said, Mr. K, don't worry, your mother will be fine. So the person who was suffering with cancer herself was more worried about my mother. So that's why I feel there is hope. I am a great believer of hope, because hope, according to me, is the art of life. We have to believe that this is like, there's a word called Amrit Manthan, जिसमें विष भी निकलता है और अमृत भी निकलता है. हम उस दौर से गुजर रहे हैं, और दो ही चीजें कर सकते हैं. या तो काम कर सकते हैं जैसे आप लोग कर रहे हैं या मैं करना चाहता हूं, या फिर हम क्रिटिसाइज करना चाहते हैं. Criticizers can start panic, and they can be losers, but it's important at this time to come together and spread the message of optimism, hope, compassion. But then when I wrote that book and it got released, etc., the second wave is a little different from what I was trying to project in my book last year. The second wave has a little more element of panic in it. A sense of loss is a little more, of life, of hope, of death, because I think also, with all my due respect to the WhatsApp universities and media, I think we need to spread hope rather than panic. Last week I lost a very dear friend of mine who was one of the bravest persons. She had lost her kidneys 8 years back. She used to go in an auto to get her dialysis done, and then she finally got kidneys, and she lost her battle to COVID. And the worst part of it, that 2 days before she died, she gave me a FaceTime call and she said, Anupam, can you give me a reassuring smile from the ICU? And I tell myself that I'm an actor who's done so much work, etc., that I can fake any smile. And reassuring is is not a very difficult thing, but I could not smile. And that image of her will always haunt in my life, always. But having said that, there's another friend of mine. I don't want to spread this whole hopelessness. I'm here to spread umeed. I'm here to spread optimism and hope. And we will have a better world after this. I know it's taken its toll on so many families. There is a sense of a loss. There is a sense of lots of things. But we had also taken this planet for granted. We had started thinking that we are the only people who are the inhabitants of Mother Earth. We had forgotten about animals, we had forgotten about nature, and this was nature's way of. My mother keeps saying, "ये भगवान ने अपना गुस्सा दिखाया, हम लोगों ने कितना अन्याय किया हुआ है धरती पर." So, so I just want to tell people over there that at the end of it, you have to believe that this too shall pass. I was listening to Mr. Bachchan's poem, and I know I've not been asked to go through a poem, but I would like to read a beautiful poem by Ramdhari Singh Dinkarji, and it's about hope. He wrote it many, many years back. It says, "हो तिमिर कितना भी गहरा अंधेरा, हो तिमिर कितना भी गहरा, हो रोशनी पर लाख पहरा, सूर्य को उगना पड़ेगा, फूल को खिलना पड़ेगा, हो समय कितना भी भारी, हमने ना उम्मीद हारी, दर्द को झुकना पड़ेगा, रंज को रुकना पड़ेगा, सब थके हैं, सब अकेले, लेकिन फिर भी आएंगे मेले, साथ ही लड़ना पड़ेगा, साथ ही चलना पड़ेगा." I think that sums it up, whatever I wanted to say.
Sir, thank you so much. And those words resonate with us. I think they resonate with the whole country so much. And you talk about hope, and I just want to ask one more question. So there are millions of people right now, like you and I, want to contribute to help in some shape and form, but we have this doubt about whether our little contribution is actually whether it's going to make any difference right now in this battle. To those people
like you comes in. That's what you have achieved in the last so many years. That's what I would like to believe that I have achieved. The way we have lived our lives, not only the way we have acted in movies. It is the credibility that we brought in. So I'm sure, I don't know, I did not let you complete your question, but I'm sure it's an important, no, I don't blame them for being skeptical about it, because it does happen. We are seeing the kind of corruption, even with oxygen cylinders, is happening. We are seeing what people are doing with the medicines. We are seeing what all is going on. But that's their karma, and that's why they will be punished for that. Our job is to believe that people will come out and help. And I'm sure they will come out, they will contribute, and the kind of purpose that you are doing it with, I'm sure we will be able to succeed and collect a lot of money, hopefully, to make it reach other people.
Thank you so much, Anupamji, for joining us today.
Yes, at least I got to see Lara after many years. That's an achievement. That's a bonus.
A pleasure. Unfortunately, we will hope for better days where this will be in person and not over virtual screens.
Silver lining and everything. So the silver lining, I'm not taking it away from you, my friend. But Lara, I have always met at the airports or something like that. But good to see you both, and great. Keep up the great work. Wonderful work you people are doing. All the best and good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember, listen to the words of Anupamji. If you want to make a donation or contribution, please look in the links below. There's a donation tab. Every single rupee will get double. Every single rupee counts. Thank you.
He's a man who has very few words and actually lets his music do the talking for him. A singer-songwriter who wears many hats and whose music is an expression of who he is. His work in Gully Boy and Slumdog Millionaire has been lauded worldwide. He is here with us today in solidarity to perform two of his own original songs. With great pleasure, we'd like to welcome Ankur Tiwari.
Hello everyone, my name is Ankur Tiwari and I'm here singing for you a couple of songs. These are tough times, broken times. My first song is about that despite being broken, we need to be together and we need to help each other, be more empathetic and spread love. Here it goes. भरते हुए जख्मों को खरोंचे, हमें भूल जाना तेरा इतनी आसानी से मुंह मोड़े, अजनबी बन जाना तेरा टूटे हम टूटे टूटे हुए हैं हम यहाँ टूटे हम टूटे टूटे होके तुम भी वहाँ क्यों खो गई है तारीखों में हमारी अधूरी दास्तां कब छूट गया साथ न जाने कब हो गए हम लापता टूटे हम टूटे टूटे हुए हैं हम यहाँ टूटे हम टूटे टूटे होके तुम भी वहाँ और वक्त की अदालतों में चलते रहेंगे मुकदमे की जाएंगी ये और हम भी हम न रहे फुर्सत मिले जो कभी तो हम पे भी गौर करना यहाँ कि हमको तेरी महफिलों में मिलती इजाज़त कहाँ टूटे हम टूटे टूटे हुए हैं हम यहाँ टूटे हम टूटे टूटे होके तुम भी वहाँ तुम भी वहाँ तुम भी वहाँ There's a lot of us who are broken out there. We're all feeling broken. This is the time to be together. Support everyone. Please try your best to donate, and so that the help reaches to those who are not privileged enough, who really need the help. And this is the time we have to show that we are together in this. The next song I'm singing is pretty much about that, how friends and people close to you, they stand by you when times are tough. And we need to stand by people, and when strangers help, you know that you're living in a good place. तराजू के बस दो थाल हैं, जीने में आए मजा। खरीदा नहीं जाता ख्वाब है, किराया भी ऐसा लाजवाब है। जिंदगी ये परेशान है, गनीमत है तू है यहाँ, जीने में आए मजा। तू जो मिला जागा ख्वाब है, खोई हुई मेरी किताब है। मुस्काया सा आदाब है, जीने में आए मजा। सुस्ताए मौसम आबाद है, हवाओं के रुख हमसे नाराज हैं। जिंदगी ये परेशान है, गनीमत है तू है यहाँ, जीने में आए मजा। बिगड़ा हुआ हिसाब है, थोड़ा नफा थोड़ा नुकसान है। जिंदगी ये परेशान है, गनीमत है तू है यहाँ, जीने में आए मजा। जिंदगी ये परेशान है, गनीमत है तू है यहाँ, जीने में आए मजा। Thank you so much for being there and helping us out by watching this. Please try and donate as well, because that will be the real help we are seeking right now. Over to you, Lara and Shamal. You're doing an awesome job. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Kriti Sanin. Today, India is fighting something which doesn't distinguish between rich, poor, young, old, male, female. कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता कि आपकी कास्ट क्या है, आपका रिलीजन क्या है, या आप कहाँ से आए हैं, या आप क्या करते हैं. It has hit us all equally and it's hit us hard. It really breaks my heart to see the crowd of people outside hospitals. Medical frontline workers are working day and night tirelessly to save as many lives as they can, but after a point even they can't do much because there's shortage of beds, there's shortage of oxygen concentrators, there's shortage of medicines, equipments, resources, ambulances, and people are literally dying to breathe. And this is the worst situation that I have seen, and it makes me feel helpless, it makes me feel angry. I know you can sit at home and just feel like, I wish I could help, but how could I? And you don't know how to do it. I just want to urge you all, please come forward and donate whatever little bit that you can. The Give India Foundation link for donation is going to be flashed throughout the show, and whatever you donate, our donor partner is going to match up to that donation, and it's going to double your donation. So for every 10 rupees that you donate, it's going to add another 10, and it's going to make it up 20. I just want you to know that no amount, and I repeat, no amount is less. I know sometimes we can think that, oh, what is 100 rupee going to do, and how is 1,000 rupee going to help anyone, what's the point? No, that's not the truth. Do you know the population of our country? Well, if all of us donate that little 100 rupees, 50 rupees, whatever is coming to you easily, whatever your pocket can afford, whatever is coming from your heart, if you all put in that little amount of money, the amount that we're going to generate is going to be huge, and it's going to be saving so many lives. So please, I really, really, with folded hands, urge you all to come forward, do your bit, and donate.
अंकुर, कृति, आप दोनों का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। और जैसे कि कृति ने कहा, आप सब जरूर आगे आए और आई ब्रीथ विद इंडिया का साथ दें, और कोई भी रकम छोटी नहीं है। तो प्लीज डोनेशन लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में नीचे है, जरूर जाइए और जो भी हो अपने दिल से जरूर डोनेट कीजिए।
Up next, we have someone who is an all-rounder in every way. He's an Arjuna awardee, and his prowess on the field really makes him a favorite every single time Team India bleeds blue. I had the pleasure of working with him when I was the mental coach with Kings 11 Punjab. And as our captain, I can tell you, he showed up with compassion and kindness, but also led with the vigor and vitality that was needed to pull us out of difficult situations. We are thoroughly delighted to bring on our friend Ashwin Ravichandran. Ashwin,
Hi, Shamal. Hi, Shamal. Hi, Lara. How are you doing?
Ashwin, you were the first person to leave the bio bubble. Firstly, I know it was family reasons, but can you tell us what was it like to be emotionally watching the devastation around you from the confines of a bio bubble whilst everything was happening?
Look, I think first things first, I'd like to say that we are going through an extremely difficult situation as a country, not just as a country, but as the entire world. We are trying to manage what we're being thrown at. And inside the bio bubble, things are a lot more easier to control than what it was outside. It was excruciatingly painful to watch what people were going through. I can't even imagine what people have to endure when they are struggling to get some oxygen in, and they're struggling to hold on to their lives. But the reason I left was not just the kind of things that my family were going through, but also the extended family. There's not one person in my know-how, relatives, friends, or family that have not been infected by this virus. And despite that, I still see a lot of laxness in the kind of attitude our people bring out with respect to this virus. We are actually in war footing, so to say. Might not be a World War I or II in a very violent manner, but this is a war that humanity is being faced with right now. And I can't begin to tell you how much my heart bleeds when I see people go through what they go through. In fact, after like 1 hour of news consumption in the morning, I end up like switching off the TV for the rest of the day. I've had enough, and I can't really see what people are enduring. Trying to put out shout outs and amplify the requirements of oxygen, the cylinders, the ICU beds. This has just been what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. I hope people do come in and generously donate here. But I also want people to understand that there is a sense of moral responsibility that everyone has out there to stake a claim in someone else's life, because at the end of it, our recklessness and our carelessness can mean that somebody is losing their father or mother, and it is very, very painful, Shama.
You're right, Ashwin, and I think that is very, very valuable advice really to share with people. Ashwin, we want to ask you, you've been a captain on the cricketing field. If you were a captain in the real world, what advice could you give us on dealing with high pressure situations? So as you mentioned, I'm sure that you went through quite an ordeal yourself personally in your own life with family members testing positive. So what are some of the tips that people can use to deal with a crisis that they're probably not prepared for? Because all of us, we know that this is all around us, but somewhere there is still hope ki hame nahi hoga. Somehow it will pass us by. So it's quite unexpected when it does hit home. How do we deal with pressure like that?
Look, I know India is a country which is actually struggling on a lot of fronts at this point of time, where people are not being able to get great medical care and they are struggling to get their beds and all that. But what we need to realize is that this is a pandemic, and it is no different elsewhere in the world. Maybe the second wave has hit us, but this is a completely new territory for mankind. We've not gone through anything like this. my only request to people is that they need to understand that this is something that has hit us and we need to respond, and we need to respond together. It's not like I see a lot of people arguing on the bit of taking a vaccine, and there needs to be a mass educational program for people where they are educated in terms of the actions that we need to be able to take on a day-to-day basis. There are a lot of people who question the authenticity of the vaccine and say, I still do test positive. But we need to understand that a vaccination, everybody in my family, my dad had taken 2 shots of the vaccine, my mom had taken 1 shot, my wife had taken a shot. I am actually on 2 shots right now, but it doesn't guarantee us from not getting the virus. It just enables us to fight this virus better and reduce the mortality rates. And that's what we are asking. It's just the first step that people do take the vaccination. And also, when you're taking your vaccinations, please do mask up and stay at a convenient distance from one another. I do understand India is a country of 1 billion people and excess. We are social animals. We like to hang out together. But it is that time where we treat one another like a virus. If there is a crowd, there is virus there. There is virus infested there. And we have it all over the place. And we need to take a war footing and we need to ask ourselves, are we doing enough in this whole thing? We question a lot of people. We love questioning others. We love questioning, the functionalities or the government organizations or the people who are doing the service for us. But are we questioning ourselves? Are we critical enough to say, hey, you know what? Am I contributing or am I taking the whole cost back? If you do feel that you're taking it back, take a step forward and make sure you're staying indoors and taking all the precautions. It is easier to be very, very, negative at this point of time. Being pessimistic is very, very easy. But the only way of staying optimistic is to embrace the situation and make sure that we understand that we are in the middle of a massive crisis that humanity is facing. Slowly, one by one, over a period of time, over the years, we can give this world as a better world to our children, only if we act today. And that is the only piece of advice that I can give.
Ashwin, your message is so strong, and it explains really what we call the paradox of life, isn't it? That we all feel as though we are isolated from a problem that exists out there, so we can be flippant in our behavior. Today, so many people have come together. Influential names have come to really raise funds for COVID. And the scary thing is that no matter how much we do, it may not be enough right now. So to the millions of people that are listening on so many platforms, Ashwin, what is your message out there to these people to help us come together as a collective, as a team, to fight this?
I request everybody to look after themselves as the authority, the leader. We are not looking, obviously, there are people who are doing their jobs extremely well and trying their best, not sleeping 24 hours. I know a lot of people who are doing that. But just treat yourself as a leader. If you were one, if you were the primary leader of this particular country or your particular state or your particular district, what would your action be? Will your action make your mom, make your family, make yourself, or make someone else proud at this point of time? If not, I think it's time to change. It's time to ask ourselves the question whether we are with one another or we are just going to randomly keep asking another question to another person. It's not about being right now. It's about being together, in it together for a better tomorrow for our children. My forefathers and my parents gave me a wonderful world to live in for all these 34 years. I would wish to give my children the best possible world that I can. This will take time. We need to understand it's going to take time. Be right by the cosmic or by the universe. If that's too much, be right by the universe and be the leader that you can be.
Thank you, Ashwin. You truly are a leader both on and off the field. Those are words of great encouragement and great inspiration. And I hope all our viewers who are listening to this today will really take to heart all that you have really shared with us. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much. But please do donate on the link and make sure it reaches the right people. Thank you.
Thank you. One of India's leading fashion designers, Tarun Telyani, has always been a champion of charitable causes and has these words to share with us today.
Hi, I'm Tarun Telyani, and I'm here to appeal in the cause of I Breathe for India. I was one of the fortunate few who just came out of hospital just before the tsunami, recovering from COVID. I had the means, it wasn't so bad, I could get the treatment, and by God's grace, I was out in 7 days. But most Indians, as we see, do not have this luxury. We're short of everything The resources are stretched, our health workers are in a state, and this is an appeal to say that whatever you donate, whatever little amount it is, it'll be doubled. So please help us get this country back on her feet together, and we're all one, and help us do this better. It's an appeal to do whatever you can for I Breathe for India. Thank you.
In rural India, the situation is quite dire. To begin with, there isn't enough information with rural citizens on how to recognize symptoms, how to keep themselves safe if there is a family member who has symptoms right now. There is a lack of diagnostic facilities. A lot of times it's just treated as a fever at home until it's too late. Or even if they go to the primary healthcare center, there aren't enough test kits to be able to identify what the problem really is. Ambulances, like I said, are not available. Invariably in rural India, you have to travel quite a lot to get to the nearest hospital, and without an ambulance, without an oxygenated ambulance, it becomes really difficult to make that journey safely. There is a lack of oximeters and thermometers at home. So not only do rural citizens need access to oximeters and thermometers, they also need information on how to use them and how to be able to read the data that comes out of an oximeter to be able to tell whether or not they need medical assistance. So there is a need obviously to provide these supplies and to also educate rural citizens on what they should be looking for. From a medium to long term point of view, we know that a lot of deaths that are being reported right now are in the age group of 35 to 55, invariably leaving behind, in many cases, young children. In cases where the person lost is the primary breadwinner, the family would be destitute, and there's not just need for data and targeted financial assistance at this time, but also a need to monitor the family over a longer period of time to make sure the children stay in school and they're not pulled out of school, to make sure that young girls in the family are not married when they're underaged and they're in fact allowed to finish their education, and to also take a look at loans that the family will no longer be able to pay back, which might threaten the roof over their heads, they might threaten their safety, and this is something that will need long-term assistance. Again, family members that have lost loved ones will require mental health assistance, not just in urban India, but also tier 2, tier 3 cities, rural India, especially young children, in local languages. Mental health assistance is going to become extremely important.
These are really important messages from Faye. I just want to pause for a moment to acknowledge all of our streaming partners. The millions of you out there, the hundreds of millions of you out there are watching this on Sony, on Voot, on Radio Military, on Mazalo, Commune, Glance, and very generously on the platforms of all the celebrities who are joining us, including Mr. Salman Khan. I also want to give a big shout out to Ty, our donors who are matching every dollar up to 1 million. So guys, please do me a favor, hands together, look at the link below, find the link, please donate. Every single rupee counts right now. We're in this together.
Like our donor Thai Global, ये 1, 2 का 4 करते हैं और इनके लिए कोई मिशन इम्पॉसिबल नहीं है. 40 साल और 100 से ज्यादा फिल्मों के बाद भी इनका जोश और जुनून बरकरार है. He has been there and done it all and been awarded with the highest honors in the film industry multiple times for his portrayals on screen. Known for his exuberance and positive energy that he brings to everything that he takes on. Please welcome the Jhakas, Mr. Anil Kapoor.
Hi Lara, how are you?
Very good, Anil. Thank you so much for being here and being part of...
I must thank you. Doing such a, your platform, and you're doing such a great job, and I'm so happy, and it's an honor to speak to you and both of you all. Thank you so much for making me part of this initiative.
Anil, we've been saying that we have really put this together in the shortest time possible. And the support that we have received from all fields, from all sides, has been actually nothing short of a miracle. And I think that's only possible because people really, really feel the need and the urgency of the situation right now to unite and come forward. And never before has humanity actually ever been unified towards fighting a crisis like this. So we're extremely thankful for the time that's been given by everybody today to be part of this, all the donation appeals that are going out, all the donations that have been made. I mean, it's really overwhelming to feel that, but also to be part of this. And I want to ask you, Anil, there is, it's a myth and it runs between all your colleagues in the industry because we truly feel that Anil has found the fountain of youth and is now only aging backwards. You've been somebody who's been extremely disciplined and take pride in maintaining, just being extremely physically and mentally strong. Despite that, has this pandemic thrown any curveball days at you? Have there been days where you found it hard or found it difficult to cope or to struggle? Could have been with some news that you may have received or things within that have happened in the family. Because on some days, just staying positive becomes really, really hard. What has been your coping mantra, Anil?
Obviously, these are all myths and, people, say such good things. So obviously I'm not delusional. I have my lows and I have my, there are times when I'm very low. There are times when I have to pick myself up. And obviously, during this time, it's been tough. And it's not few days, but I think every day in the morning when I get up, I have to pick myself up, and every night when I sleep, I hope, I'm so grateful that I get strength from all the people who are my near and dear ones. And I'm so grateful for whatever God has given me. And that also gives me a lot of strength. So, you see, I'm a very physically driven person. And so being physically driven, so obviously I use my physicality, and that gives me mental strength. And when that gives me mental strength, I can give strength to the people around me. Besides taking the strength from, because every member of the family has got their, pluses and minuses. So I try as my best to take what I can take from them, and I try to give whatever I can to create a positive atmosphere among my near and dear ones. And I think that's what this pandemic has taught all of us is that you are so grateful that you are surrounded by by your family, and they are there to support you, and you're there to support them as much as you can. So yes, of course, I've kept myself physically very active, and because I'm fortunate that I have the space, so I do that, and people who have that space and who have this kind of a situation where they can keep themselves physically fit. It really helps in this kind of a situation to keep positive, to be positive, and that's what I've done, and that's what it is, and I feel. I feel every breath I have taken, I feel very blessed. And when I feel blessed, so then it makes me positive. The little things which we spend together, having meals together, talking to each other, and playing small little indoor games, and that's giving, which I'd completely forgotten these, like these games, indoor games. I used to play when I used to stay in Chembur, but I've started playing those games. I've started, like carom or darts, all those kind of things. And these small, it gives, so much of pleasure, and we try to create this kind of a positive atmosphere, and speak to our friends and do whatever we can to spread the positivity. Yeah.
Anilji, I want to stay with what you mentioned about the family. We know you have a really strong family system and you're extremely supportive of each other. You work very closely together. During these extended lockdowns, we've seen it's put tremendous strain on family units, especially those that are living within close quarters. We're seeing relationships take the brunt of an extended lockdown period. Now, personally, we all know that a strong family unit is probably one of the greatest assets in getting over anything, leave this pandemic, anything that's thrown out there. What are some pieces of advice that you can give to people in small things they can do to hold that family unit together and perhaps be a little more tolerant and patient with each other?
I think, first of all, I think you have to be a good listener. That's a more, someone has to be a good listener and be a little more calm and talk about all the positive things as much as possible and be as real as possible, and sometimes when you feel that you need help, you don't have to, unnecessarily put up a brave front and say that I don't need help. If you feel, today I'm feeling low, I said, if you can help me, I'll be, very, very happy, because I think something really disturbed me. There are certain people who are extra sensitive, so you must say it, instead of just sitting in one corner or sitting in your room and not sharing it. I think that's something which is not, I feel that's what, if you can share all your things, and there are certain people who have those kind of strengths and positivity, and then you can speak out and talk and create that positive atmosphere. I feel, you should say it, you should share it. If you're feeling sensitive or you're feeling emotional or you're feeling low, so you must, I think, share it. And I'm sure some member of the family will have a formula to, because we've lived in joint families and since in India especially, and we can help each other, that way, in many ways, I feel.
अनिल, इफ आई मे आस्क यू, आप कोविड के बीच में लगातार काम कर रहे थे और जैसे कि हमें पता है कि हम एक्टर्स मास्क पहन के या पीपीई किट पहन के it's impossible for us to carry out the work that we're supposed to do in front of the camera. तो इस टाइप के माहौल में काम करते हुए कितना मुश्किल था आपके लिए और आपके क्रू के लिए?
I think we have to create an atmosphere which is full court, where we do our best so that we, carry on all the rules and regulations first laid down by the government, and of course with the entire team. And that's what we did. So I saw to it that we work with only people who are very sensitive and very, very careful that they create a bubble so that we can work very comfortably and work without fear. Because obviously the actors sometimes, when we start performing in front of the camera, we forget everything, and it's most of the times a very physical job. So we have to be extra careful, extra cautious, and that's what all the films and ads which I did. Fortunately for me, I was besides me, the entire team and the team surrounding me also was very, very careful, and of course as a senior member or people around me kept on reprimanding, and you have to be very, very strict. Like for example, my wife. Now this is her domain, and of course she is absolutely extremely, extremely strict, in terms of, and sometimes there's nothing wrong in being rude because the situation is such at the moment. And if someone is getting upset, let him or her get upset. But these are the rules, and you have to follow those rules. And so you have to, whoever is responsible of, those areas. And of course, I have been fired by my wife so many times, and you have to just, because she is saying it from because she's, saying it for my good. And the same way when I'm working, I have fired so many people on the set, and I try to, if they're not listening. पहले प्यार से समझाओ, अगर प्यार से नहीं समझते हैं तो फिर I should just leave the set. I said, you're not going to wear the mask and you're going to move around like this, or you're not going to obey the orders. And so please, I said, please stop the shooting. I said, this is not going to happen. And, and be nice to them. And of course, that's what I've done. So I was very lucky and fortunate that I worked with people who really were taking care of me and the people who are working with me.
Thank you so much, Anilji. You know, one thing we've learned is that this virus is really and truly here to stay. And you speak about things that are so important, about adopting new behavior changes. You talk about being socially responsible. And so today we have hundreds of millions of people watching the stream on all platforms. You know, some of them feel helpless in what they can do to do this. You know, do you have a message or a parting message to them, please?
So before we leave, I just finished a film with one of Lara's friends, and we shot in Rajasthan. And then after, obviously, you know, we usually, when we wrap a film, we have a kind of a wrap party. So obviously we couldn't, because there was, you know, wrap party was everybody, you know, there were so many people together, and we were just wanted to, you know, finish the film, and everybody goes to their respective families. And so then we had a small little get together, with all the rules and regulations. And that's the first time I really actually saw so many of the faces. You know, I couldn't recognize anybody, because the entire film, I said, you know, I don't know who they were. You know, I was just working with the assistants and the, you know, I said, oh, you have a pretty face. You got, you know, actually, that's you. So I was so confused. I don't know anybody. First time I met so many of them, I said, that's me. That's me. That's me. So that's the way we happen. So I said, you know, so that's one of the. I said, instead, I must tell Lara, because Lara will know who I'm talking about. And so, what was the you were saying the advice, right? What should be my parting? I feel there are certain people who are still feeling that the vaccination is not the, you know, who don't want to get vaccinated. And I just have to say that, you know, if you get an opportunity, or when your turn comes, when your chance comes, please, you know, see to it that you take the vaccination, because it's been the best brains and the greatest brains and scientists have created this vaccine. So please vaccinate yourself. So that's what I would say. And that's the need of the hour is, you know, get yourself vaccinated and keep social distancing, stay at home, stay safe, and be positive and be happy. And that's what I want to say. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anil. Your approach to life has been an inspiration, not only to me, but to millions of others. And you've heard him all. Everybody, as Mr. Anil Kapoor says, please get yourself vaccinated. That is one of our safest ways of really beating this pandemic. Please follow the rules that have been put in place. Do not crowd the vaccination centers. Be socially responsible in all the things that require to be done in order to fight this virus together as a community effectively.
Thank you, Lara, and thank you for doing such a great job.
Thank you. We've been speaking so much about the family unit and the strength that it provides. Our next two guests have some of the most adorable social media videos. People love them when they come on, and they themselves have had their own COVID experience while having had COVID themselves. So here to talk us through it is Ritesh and Janelia Deshmukh.
Hi friends, today our country is facing its biggest crisis, and COVID-19 has been the most difficult thing that as a country, as individuals, that we have been facing. And it's a tragedy to just see what's happening out there, and together we think we can come together and be of some help, extend a helping hand to someone who really needs it. We are here to talk about our experiences. Janelia got COVID positive way back in August last year. Yeah. So, you want to share something?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I had got COVID back in August. It was straight after my birthday, and I was with my close family, which was my mom, dad, my mother-in-law, Ritesh, my kids. And the first thing on getting COVID was the fear whether I had, spread it to the elders in my family, and that kind of already bothered me a lot. I didn't know what was next, so I had to be in isolation. I thought it was 14 days, it became 21 days. As a mom, and I was totally distraught. I mean, being in a family, children today are doing distant education, which for us is is really, really tough. This is something that none of us really know, and none of us can really say how, when it is going to happen, or when it did happen. The best we can do is mask up, be as particular as we can, and just probably lend a helping hand to someone who needs it, even if it means a phone call, I feel.
It's a difficult time. We all understand. We open television today and we see that there are lack of beds, there's lack of oxygen, people are dying not because of COVID, but because there's not enough support for them to battle COVID. And that's the tragedy I feel that's fallen onto us as a country, which we collectively need to find a way, support in terms of any kind of donation that we do. And no donation is small. You know, it could, like Jinila said, it could just be a phone call, or it could just be 1 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupee, whatever one can afford. Any kind of donation is a helping hand. At the same time, I just want to tell you that it's important for us to keep smiling. You know, there's a lot of sad news out there, but you have to lift a spirit. You have to keep your spirits high. And you can only do that by, you know what, just call a friend. You are sitting at home with your family. I know it's probably some states, many states have lockdown right now, but you can pick up that one phone call and call someone that you've not spoken to for months or years and just say, hey, how are you doing? Crack a joke, have a laugh. You know, it's important to just keep your spirits high. And that's the reason when me and Janelia, we try to do this fun videos for ourselves, and also
to bring a smile.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many people who tell us, you know, आपके videos बहुत पसंद आते हैं, आप हंसी दिलाते हो.
And it's gratitude when that happens, because I think the both of us, when we do it, at some point in our own little family, our boys get excited, you know, we get excited, it brings a smile on our face. So like Ritesh said, it's extremely important to just be there for each other in whatever way.
So 3 things: stay fit, eat well, be happy. Good luck. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I know everyone understands how dire the situation is in India and the need for help. What few people understand is how immediate the need is. So please give, but more importantly, give immediately, because every one-day delay means somebody will die. Thank you all very much.
We would like to thank Mr. Vinod Khosla, the co-founder of Sun Microsystems and Khosla Ventures, and the whole Khosla family for their extreme generosity of spirit and heart by donating an additional $1 million to our fundraiser, I Breathe for India, which will greatly enhance the efforts of Give India and go a long way in the fight against the COVID crisis.
He straddles the world of entertainment and sport with equal ease. An actor, a producer, an entrepreneur, an owner of Jaipur Pink Panthers and Chennai FC.
His personality embodies the characteristics of the characters that he portrays on screen: the mischievousness of Bunty, the raw energy of Lalan, the smoldering intensity of Gurukant Desai, and the lovability of Ricky. I'm honored to call him a friend, and he's always the first person to offer unconditional support and is unwavering in his commitment. Please welcome Abhishek Bachchan.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me.
Abhishek, thank you for being here with us today. We want to ask you, during the first lockdown last year, the country was really grappling with its first tires with the pandemic. And at that time, your dad, yourself, Aishwarya, Aradhya had all tested positive for COVID and all needed to be hospitalized. In the current scenario, where beds are scarce to come by and medical facilities and the medical staff are really stretched to the limit, it's really quite scary. And with the grace of God, all of you recovered and were out of hospital and recovered completely. Can you talk us through what it was like to spend quite a few weeks hospitalized? And more importantly, how do you maintain a positive outlook post recovery to really eliminate fear and recover completely?
Well, yeah, Lara and Shamal, as you all said, it was in July last year when me and the family tested positive. My father and I were the first to be shifted to hospital. What started off as mild symptoms due to the early onset of the virus, obviously, and my father has several comorbidities. The medical team wanted to shift him to the hospital and his age as well, which at that point of time was within the extremely sensitive bracket. We both were mildly symptomatic, but within a couple of days, in fact, within 24 hours of shifting is when our symptoms really accelerated, and there was need for medical intervention, etc., etc. My wife and daughter were thankfully quarantining at home because the medical team felt that they did not need to be hospitalized. But unfortunately, as the first week went on, into their first week, their conditions deteriorated and they both had to be shifted to hospital with my father and myself. By the grace of God, within a week of being in hospital, Aishwarya and Aradhya both tested negative and were allowed to go home. My father and I, unfortunately, tested positive again. A week later, my father tested negative and went home, and I ended up spending almost 29 days in hospital because they could not allow me to go home. I have certain comorbidities which were complicating my matter, and the test kept coming positive. It's very difficult when you're testing positive to stay positive. It was obviously because it was early days of the virus and there was still very little information that we knew about, how things unfold and what the experience was going to be. And today, thankfully, there is a lot more of that available to us. It was very daunting. It was scary. It was something which everybody was very apprehensive about. And obviously, as a family man, having my 79-year-old father was something which I was extremely concerned about. Then for my daughter and my wife, it's just possibly one of the worst things to see is your family and, your 8-year-old in a hospital bed being put through the protocols that they had. It was happiness when they tested negative, they went back. Then it was my father and I. And then when he tested negative, it was a huge relief for me. At that point of time, my attentions and energies were completely dedicated towards them. I mean, there's very little I could do. I'm not a medical practitioner. I just had to merely follow the instructions of the amazing staff and doctors at the Nanavati Hospital where we were in Mumbai. And the team of nurses that literally were working in that ward 24 hours a day. I think at that point of time, the most important thing to remember is your discipline. Lara, when you're in hospital and there's nothing to do, you're just literally just waiting there, convalescing. Your mind wanders, but you have to remain disciplined. You have to listen to the medical practitioners. And I was so happy to, hear what Anilji just said before this. With regards to our information, I think we have to stop reading WhatsApp and the internet, and we have to start listening to science. And that's the most important thing. These are the greatest minds on earth who are only working towards our betterment. So at that point of time, stay disciplined, listen to what the doctors say. And that was the only way we could try and be as positive in our mindset as possible. Then when you come back, I think it's important to remain responsible. Responsible in the sense that aapko ye nahi sochna chahiye ki bhaiya mujhe to COVID ho gaya, now I'm fine. You have to be responsible towards the rest of society. Even now, when a very aggressive vaccination drive is carrying on, people have this thing that, I get vaccinated once and I'm fine. No, you still have to maintain social distancing. You still have to wear your mask. You still have to keep hand hygiene. So how do you remain positive during a time like this? You do whatever it takes. For us, I think the best thing possible is to spend time with your loved ones and just express what you're feeling. I think communication is key. Thankfully, the family was all in the same COVID ward when we were hospitalized, so we spent a lot of time together, communicating, asking how you are, and try and find the silver lining amidst these very dark times. Aishwarya said something so wonderful, which I've repeated often ever since she did, where, when it tends to get to you and you're a bit beat down about being in the lockdown, or घर पे बैठे हैं सब लोग, पता नहीं क्या करें, आगे जाके काम होगा नहीं होगा, कमाई कहाँ से होगी, etc., as everybody thinks. And when you have nothing else to occupy yourself, there's a lot that your mind wanders to. And she said something which was so wonderful. She said, when was the last time, to give it a silver lining, when was the last time that you got to spend 24 hours a day with your family? When was the last time that you got to enjoy sitting with, say, your parents, which could be elderly? When was the last time you got to spend time with your family, your wife, your siblings? When was the last time you got to spend so much time with your children? So let's try and be positive about it. I think something that I've learned greatly from Shamal through all my interactions is, no matter how difficult the obstacle, if you can try and find that one sliver of optimism, hold on to that and build on that, and that will help the light come through. So it is very difficult. Let's not fool ourselves. Let's not try and paint a rosy picture that, oh, it's very easy. No, it's not. But you have to do whatever you have to do. What I keep telling people when they ask me, Lara and Shamal, is, look, this is the situation we're in. All right? This is what it is, and we got to make the best of it. So you have to put your best foot forward, and just try and keep as positive a mindset as possible. And it starts from there. It is disheartening at times, and you have to push through those hard days. Speak to people, speak to your friends, interact with them. And that's the way I've managed so far with my family. And, so far, we're all still here. And by the grace of God, people are still healthy.
Abhishek, those words are so encouraging. And we talk about the duality and the realities of life. And I wanted to ask you, you have a kabaddi team, and a lot of your kabaddi players, maybe they come from small towns and villages where we hear the news of them being so badly impacted by no medical infrastructure, no medications, no doctors, no testing, no vaccines. You've been to these villages, you've seen where they've lived, you've seen the conditions. What goes through your mind when you understand the harshness of their pain? Because you've been there. Can you share your thoughts on emotionally what goes through you, and perhaps a few things that we can do to help people like that at this time?
I think you all are doing a fantastic job of doing what we need to do in times like this. And this is exactly what we need to do. Our humanity has to come to the fore, Shaman. Your humanity is tested on a daily basis. I've always said this: life isn't easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but it's in times like this where your humanity has to come to the fore. Personally, for me, it's very upsetting to see the conditions that people are in. It's at times like this where you really appreciate, acknowledge, and thank the Lord for the kind of privilege that He's bestowed upon you. But let's be very clear. This virus does not see social strata, does not see religion, does not see caste, does not see creed, nothing. You have to reach out to your neighbor. You have to reach out to whoever you can. In our sporting world, it's very worrisome for me. I've never considered myself an owner of these teams. I've always considered myself a part of a bigger family. And on our own, in whatever small way possible, the teams have reached out. We're in constant touch with all our past, current, and any other players that we're in contact with. We're monitoring them, offering them any sort of assistance that we can. This is the time where we all, as human beings, need to step up to the plate and do whatever we can, and go possibly at times beyond the call of duty. This is very important. I feel we've come into a mindset, and understandably so. Look, I don't want to point fingers at anyone. We've come into a mindset where we're just going out and saying, what is this person doing? What is that person doing? When was the last time we asked ourselves the question that, what am I doing? Am I doing the best that I can do to help my brother or sister next to me, to my fellow citizen? Now is the point of time where, let's stop expecting people to do stuff for us, and let us go out there out of our humaneness and do what we think is right. And that will help. And it's through initiatives like what you all are doing where we feel reassured that, yes, we can together make a difference. And we have to stop depending on just other people to go out there and do something. We have to take that initiative ourselves. So that's what we're trying to do as the sporting world, as you would also know, both Lara and Shama. has been severely affected by the virus. As far as Kabaddi is concerned, our last year's tournament of the Pro Kabaddi League got cancelled. And this year as well, it keeps getting delayed due to certain protocols because we have to keep the safety of the athletes first and foremost, the staff, and the audience in mind. This is their daily bread and butter. If they're not going to be able to play a sport or the sport that they specialize in, how are they going to earn? At points and times like this is when you actually have to step up to the plate and do whatever you can. And I think I want to congratulate both of you for showing the kind of empathy and understanding across the board. It's not just us, Lara, as people associated from the film industry, or Shamal, somebody who does all the work that you do, starting with the sports world. It's about reaching out to each and every one and saying, okay, I'm here, I'm a responsible citizen, and I'm ready to do whatever I can do and make that effort, no matter how big or small.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. You're absolutely right. I don't think you could have expressed yourself more eloquently than you have today. It definitely is our collective responsibility. It's not just a responsibility, it's a duty, it's a privilege to be able to
Absolutely.
We've all been sitting in our houses, whether you're a celebrity or not. You may have money in your bank account, but everyone is wondering, where do I give? What do I do? How do I contribute in the most effective way possible? And this for us
currently the best way to do it is just press that link below us right now and contribute. That's the best way to do it right now. We're giving you an opportunity, if you're watching this, that it's that easy. Press that button. It's right here. It's right here. Just press that button and get on with it. And no sum is too little, no action is too small.
Thank you so much, Abhishek, for being here with us
tonight.
My pleasure.
Thank you for doing this, and keep up the great work. And let's stay safe, India, and let's all just keep as positive a mindset as possible. And we look forward to all getting through this together as a unit.
Thank you. You've heard him, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Abhishek Bachchan. That donate button is right there. Please, if you're finding difficulty in looking for it, look into the description below. It's right there for you. This is your time right now to step up for your country. Please donate. We are very, very grateful for all the contributions that you make today.
Our country is going through a difficult moment, and the value of every breath has been understood. There are so many people, just like you and me, who are battling for oxygen, beds, and resources. Every single day, thousands of people are losing the battle against COVID, and many more are struggling to stay alive. Today, it's just not only about feeling their pain, but for all of us to come together and support them. Contribute to the Give India Foundation, who are continuously providing support to the most needy. Please do remember, no help is small. The more all of us donate, the more our donors are going to contribute. Every life, every breath, and every rupee is precious. Let's come together.
हमारा देश इस वक्त मुश्किल घड़ी में है। घरों में और हॉस्पिटल्स में लोग ऑक्सीजन और बेड के लिए घूम रहे हैं। ऑक्सीजन की कमी से हर रोज अनगिनत लोग अपनी जान गंवा रहे हैं। इस मुश्किल घड़ी में हम सबका कर्तव्य बनता है कि हम एक दूसरे की हेल्प करें और एक दूसरे को सहारा दें। जितना आप डोनेट करेंगे उतने ही हमारे डोनर्स भी अपनी तरफ से कंट्रीब्यूट करेंगे, ताकि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों की मदद हो पाए। ये डोनेशन गिव इंडिया फाउंडेशन को जाएगा, जो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को हेल्प कर रहे हैं अभी इस मुश्किल घड़ी में। आपदा कैसी भी हो, हम लड़ेंगे, हम डटे रहेंगे और हम साथ खड़े रहेंगे, और हर सांस बोलेगी, आई ब्रीद इंडिया।
Our sporting giants, Sunil Shetty and Rishabh Pant, are in this fight with us. You heard them, guys. Every life, every breath, every rupee matters. So please do me a favor. Click on the link below. Please donate. We're in this together and we can get through this together.
one of India's most popular directors. Kejo, as we all lovingly liked to call him, is not just popular for the movies that he makes, but also for the chutzpah that he brings to all that he is part of, be it as a talk show host, as a talent-based reality show judge, as a producer of engaging content across platforms, and as an active supporter of many causes. Here again, as always, to lend his influential voice and support and to highlight the need of the hour is Mr. Karan Johar.
Hi. And hello. Hi, Lara. Hi, Shamal. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Karan.
Hi, Karan.
Hello.
Karan, thank you so much for joining us. You know, the first question I want to ask you is that this lockdown has a very different sentiment to the last. There seems to be so much more fear and fatigue that is set in, and rightfully so, because we were caught unawares, we were not prepared and lightly. I want to understand, has that changed the way people are consuming or what they're watching? Has it changed how we interpret people's emotions? How has that shifted in the minds of people?
So, Shamal, rightfully, the last time we locked down, which was around the end of March, you know, when information was very new about the pandemic and it was seeping in through social media and through other resources and channels, it just felt like staying at home and discovering your me time and, you know, being with your loved ones. And that was the main focus at that time. Reading about it was still a relatively unknown virus to most of us. So there was a lot of misinformation. We were still sieving through all of that, but it still felt safer. Somehow it felt like if you stayed at home, protected yourself, there are ways and means that you can actually adopt to kind of protect you and your loved ones and your family and your immediate community that surrounded you. This time around, when the second wave struck us, it's like it all got real and it came knocking on every door. Now, today, if you speak to any friend, family, close, loved one, each one has a story to tell you about the dramatic and traumatic times they've had trying to get a hospital bed or trying to get oxygen for their loved ones. I know even within my own immediate circle of friends and family and colleagues, we've had to be on the call, phone, trying to kind of do our best, of course, to do our best for our loved ones. I have some really dear friends of mine who are even fighting for their life as we speak in ICUs. And every day, it's like you wake up to heartbreak and you sleep with heartburn. It's really, and there is an organic feeling of helplessness that you want to do everything in your capacity, not just because you may be a public figure, but just as a citizen of this country, you want to really help. And this is such an isolating disease and virus that it even if you have family or friends in an ICU, you can't be there physically. You can't hold somebody's hand through this time. So yes, to answer your question, these are more dramatic, more traumatic, and more real times to deal with this pandemic. So I think what you're consuming at home, it's like, I don't think anyone has the focus right now. People are watching stuff, but I think they're watching it with a numb feeling within. Like last year, I was genuinely consuming stuff. I was catching up on everything I missed out on OTT platforms. I was seeking and searching for new content. This time around, I'm watching it like a zombie, like I'm just staring at the screen, but my mind is not there. My mind is everywhere else. My mind is on the suffering, my mind is on the hardships that surround me. So I think that till we can address this on a national level and we can actually come back and kind of literally change the curve of what's happening, I'm not so sure entertainment is the most important thing on any Indian citizen's mind right now. Unfortunately, we're all trying, I had to actually get onto a group. I have a group of school and college friends, all from out of the fraternity. And they were sending constant updates. And a lot of people I felt were getting anxious, even reading the news or hearing these updates or, just getting onto social media. So there's also a mental health aspect that we have to all kind of think of. Sometimes this constant flurry and barrage of bad news can also kind of imbalance your inner system, and your mental health needs to be protected as well. So I also put out a message saying, listen, guys, if you seek information, reach out one-on-one, Go online and check for yourself if you need any help, or call anyone up if you need, but just don't constantly put stuff out on social media, because it's actually leading to high levels of anxiety with people. And that's one thing that we also all have to realize, that too much information without you being able to do anything about it is also not the solution. So yeah, I'm sorry I painted a very sad and unfortunate picture, but it is really what it is, and I try to find, like, really every day, Lara and Shamal, I find every day I try to find a silver lining through the day. It's like, my silver linings invariably come from gratitude. Every day in the morning I wake up and I'm like, if my mother and my two children are healthy and happy, my immediate loved ones are secure in their homes, I feel like that's the one prayer to the universe, is of gratitude. And that's my silver lining. That's what I do every single morning of the day.
I'm sure, Karan, that for you it's been challenging enough. At home, you've got Hero Auntie, your mom, who's a senior citizen. You've got both the twins at home that are toddlers, two completely different age groups, to keep safe, to safeguard, but also to keep entertained and engaged through the day. So I only have one husband and one child. They're pretty much the same age group, but I know what a challenge it's been. So it's just, but right. I wanted to ask you, Karan, Dharma Cornerstone has just recently launched a talent management company, and
right.
You are promoting and launching young, new talent. You've always been a big supporter of encouraging new talent, not just as actors, but also as directors, also as writers. In the country right now, there seems to be the age group of our youth, our teens, our 20-somethings that are possibly facing one of the highest levels of depression and mental health illness that has ever been seen before in the country today, because they're really suffering. Last year has been a difficult year. There has been loss of employment, loss of jobs. They truly feel that they've been robbed of the best time of their lives. And by looking at the scenario around us, nothing looks like it's going to be getting better in a hurry. What can you say to these young people? What kind of encouragement that can you give them, or advice can you give them that really helps them, stay centered and just work towards possibly a better future in the coming year?
Lara, that's it's wonderful that you asked me this question, because I do face this on a daily basis. I get calls from a lot of these youngsters who are working not only with us at Dharma Productions or Dharmatic, but also within the industry, who are in their 20s, who just jump-started their careers, just kick-started their careers, and are now sitting at home and are wondering, when their next, work will come. When are they alienating themselves from an audience? Will they be forgotten? Will they, will they be back to work soon? Are they losing precious years? To them, I say there are two ways of dealing with this. You can keep feeling down and completely depressed and stressed and anxious, or you can actually really nurture yourself in some way. Like, this is unfortunate, not just you, the world is going through this. All of us are sick, are isolated, we're at homes, we're combating different situations on different levels. But you have to nurture yourself. If you're a young artist, or a young technician, or a young DOP, or a young, you could be a young editor, a young filmmaker, this is a time you actually educate yourself a lot more than you have. Watch things that can teach you, watch master classes, go online, learn a course. There are so many online courses. And I keep telling them, you can either cry over this spilt milk and do nothing about it, or you can be proactive and really take the opportunity. Every adversity gives you an opportunity. And this is the opportunity to leverage the time you have on hand to educate, to nurture, to kind of take your own talent to another level. And I beseech everyone listening to this, watching this, that please don't be burdened by the times. Use this opportunity of time to leverage your strengths and take it to another level in the form of education. Fortunately for us, the online world is so massive and large where it comes to education. There are absolutely a million places that you can actually, just a click away, teach yourself, learn, and just kind of literally take advantage of this time at hand. There's no point in just sitting at home and feeling terrible about yourself. That's called indulgence. And we cannot afford any indulgences at all. There's no time for indulgences. Now it's a time for proactivity. Either you are occupied with philanthropy work, which you must do as an honorable citizen, or you work on your craft and your work, or you get on to like anything that can educate you. Or if you seek peace, within, you can meditate, you can do yoga. There's so much actually available for you to do. The worst kind of addressal of a situation is to do absolutely nothing and just worry, because that's not going to help you. It's going to make the situation worse. So yeah, that's my only advice really to people out there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karan. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for all your insights. The entertainment industry, regardless of all said and done, has really been the one thing that's been keeping us sane through pretty much all of these lockdowns. So we really look forward to whatever is coming out next from Dharma Productions. And we're extremely grateful for the time that you've given us today.
Thank you, Shamal. Thank you, Lara. And I tell everybody who's watching this to please, open your hearts up. And I think it's just like a click away for you to kind of offer to your community and give whatever you can in your capacity. And thank you for doing this, you guys. I mean, like, it's platforms such as this that really empowers empowers the situation we're all in, and ways and means that we can really combat it. So thank you, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
So everyone, you're hearing it from every single celebrity that's coming on across all fields. We're here for one cause. We're here for Give India. We're here for the I Breathe for India campaign. So please do whatever little you can contribute. I humbly request you to please support us in this cause.
As I speak today, more than 2 crore people have been affected with the COVID-19 virus in India alone, with losing over 2 lakh lives. And as I speak now, there's more than 4 lakh people testing positive every single day for this deadly virus. This is just not a statistic or some number. These are people, real people, people you've loved, people who've loved you, and people who've made a deep impact on your life. But at a time like this, we must also remember that it's important that we believe that we can get out of this, and together. For the past few weeks, especially when the second wave hit us, whether it's the production houses, whether it's the studio facilities that have turned into isolation centers for doctors, we've been doing our bit for connecting plasma donors, for getting oxygen in time. Nothing will be enough until we're able to support our healthcare system. I'm doing my bit, and I humbly request you to do yours by contributing to I Breathe India in whatever capacity possible. And every single rupee that you contribute will be matched by the organization, which means we get to donate double. And remember, this shall pass too. We will get through this together.
Samantha, first of all, straight off the bat, thank you so much for coming out and joining us today and being part of this. I mean, when I reached out to you, you were absolutely prompt in your response. And I know across our industry, doesn't matter, boundaries don't matter anymore. Everybody really wants to come together. Everybody is really keen to know how they can make a difference. And putting together this virtual fundraiser has really been a challenge in a short amount of time, but it's also been an incredible pleasure to see the amount of support that has come our way. So thank you so much for being part of this.
I should actually thank you, Lara, for giving me an opportunity to be part of something like this. I was actually waiting I think a lot of us at home are sitting with guilt as to how more can we be involved, what can we do. So I think I was just waiting for you probably to message me.
Thank you. All of us came into 2021 with a lot of optimism. Everybody was so happy to see the end of what 2020 was. All of us thought that, the worst was behind us and we were ready to start a new year. I don't think anybody really foresaw that in the month of May 2021, that we were all going to be under lockdown again. And I have to admit that for me itself, this lockdown has definitely been different from last year.
And no baking videos and cooking videos. No, not this time.
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to ask you. For you yourself, mentally, this lockdown, this 2.0 version of it, how different has it been from what we faced last year?
Apart from the virus, there is also fear that is like, it's like a plague, the fear as well, So I believe that it's very important right now to stop misinformation, to stop overconsumption of information. Yes, there is a virus, and I think most of us already know what to do when we do get sick. But I feel apart from that, there's so much of anger on social media. There's so much of hate. Which really increases the stress and anxiety when we consume such hate and such anger. So what are we doing really for our mental health as well? I believe that mental health is as important to speak about right now.
Yes. No, definitely. So that was my next question to you, really, Samantha. What of this crisis, what aspect of it do you really resonates? What do you feel personally that is something that, because a lot of people are talking about the oxygen deficit in the country. A lot of people are talking about hospitals being full, beds not being available. So what part of this, crisis has really resonated with you? Something that you feel that maybe is not being addressed enough, that really needs attention as well?
Yeah, I was just informed that there is something termed as the shadow pandemic. One in every three, statistics from the US, 1 in every 3 Americans is facing depression and anxiety. And the same thing is going to be happening here, so 1 in 3 are many people who are suffering from anxiety and depression, who probably are not going to be talking about it as much as they should. And I think that destigmatizing mental health is also the need of the hour. People who have a voice should come out and normalize it.
I agree. That's a really valid point to make. And I think, this is something that we're actually going to feel the ripples of far after we actually conquer this crisis, so move forward. So Samantha, today there are millions of people watching this across various different platforms. Like I said, people want to help. They're unsure about how they should help. They've been wanting to donate, wondering whether their donations really will make a difference or not. We'd like to hear what you'd like to say to the people who are watching today that do want to donate. Is there something that you'd like to say to everyone?
I don't think we can shut our eyes and ears to the people who desperately need our help. And no donation is too small. You are part of a huge movement to help those in need. And I believe that it's time to be kind and to trust, with a movement, I Breathe for India, which has been doing an amazing job. And it's time to trust and be kind and believe that we can help each other through this.
Thank you so much, Samantha. Well, you couldn't have said it any better. And I'm sure for the amounts of millions of followers that you have who are also watching us today, just to see you backing this, really putting your heart and soul into it, I'm sure that you will inspire so many people to come forward and do their bit as well. So thank you so much for being part of this.
Thank you so much, Lara.
Thank you, Rana and Samantha. Ending the COVID crisis is a collective effort. And the people who are dying are not strangers. They are family. They're someone's father, mother, brother, sister. Your donation can help save lives. The fundamental need of every living person is to love and be loved. This simple, profound message cannot be more relevant today. Our next guest has built a spiritual community across the globe who share a common goal: to practice service and compassion, and to be agents of sustainable change. A beloved and respected spiritual teacher to millions across the globe, he is not only a guide, but a community builder, an activist, an author, and the founder and coordinator of multiple spiritual communities all across the world.
He has personally had a profound impact on my life. Together with my spiritual master, the late His Holiness Charaswami, they have been the inspiration and the motivation behind the Arnamritra Foundation, which has provided more than 22 million meals across India to migrant workers, children in the slum, COVID patients, and caregivers on the front line of this COVID crisis. I am deeply honored and privileged to welcome His Holiness Radhanath Swami.
I am very honored and grateful to be with you, Shamala and Lara. Thank you for including me. And my sincere gratitude to everyone who is gathered together for this very important, auspicious event.
Maharaj, it's a little ironical that it's really taken a virus that we cannot see to transcend boundaries and unify all of us. Maharaj, what are the small conscious social behavior changes you think we should all adopt that will really have a deeper, more longer lasting effect in how we move forward from this?
Every little brick that we build a house with needs to be upon a foundation that makes it sustainable, that gives it strength. And the foundation of humanity is this principle of karuna, or compassion. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu that a truly spiritual person, from whatever religion or spiritual path one may take, the testimony of their sincerity is how we can show compassion to other living beings, how we see life as sacred in every way, not to take advantage or take things for granted. In today's world, there are so many people worldwide, and especially at this time in India, who are suffering and dying because they cannot breathe. Every day, how many breaths do we take? And how grateful are we for those breaths? If you can't breathe, you'll give everything you have for a breath. But when you can easily breathe, you don't even think about its value. We don't see it as a gift. And this is a principle that's underlying all true spiritual paths, that all of creation is God's gifts. And the best way to utilize God's gifts is to share them with each other. Because aham bija pratapita, we are all children of the same source. So as we're living our day-to-day lives, to recognize that my body is a gift of God, and it's my duty to take care of it. My skills, my reputation, fame, or influence over others, my property, my resources, my money, whatever I may have, they're all gifts of God, and they're all meant to be shared. And it's in that sharing, which we call seva, for the well-being of others, that we can find real happiness. At this particular time, we see how uncertain life is and how uncertain the world is. And there is a need to recognize the internal world, the reality that is within our hearts, the spiritual level, which is in many ways unaffected by external situations. And the nature of the soul, which is a universal principle, is to feel God's love and to be an instrument of that love, and to engage our occupation, our skills, our families, whatever we may have, to be instruments of God's love. And the more we find that peace within ourselves, the more we can be instruments of peace in everything we do and everything we say in this world. So I believe it's very important that people recognize the importance of making that inner connection, that spiritual connection, and simultaneously um, caring about those who suffer, caring about those who are at loss, and whatever our capacity may be to help. There's a beautiful analogy where when Hanuman was building that bridge across the Indian Ocean, because Sita was in need. um, there was like a pandemic of Ravana at the time, and he was causing so much pain. And so what happened is, he was building a bridge by lifting huge mountains. And there was a little squirrel, and all he could do, maybe it was a girl, all she could do was just kick one grain of sand at a time, to contribute. And at that time, Lord Ram told Hanuman that squirrel is doing every bit as much as you, because you're all trying your best. And the value of how we help is very much based on our intention, that we're trying our best. And that could change the world. That nothing is small when it is done with compassion. Nothing is small when it is done in service to others. 1 rupee could save a person's life. It may not be much to us, 1 rupee or 10 rupees or 100 rupees, but it could mean parents not losing their child, children not losing their parents, wives not losing their husbands. Every little bit is enormous. And today's wonderful event is an opportunity for us to really share our care and do our very best to bring a meaningful life to ourselves and to really help others. And there's no greater legacy we can give our children than if our children see charity in the right spirit coming from the parents.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, we wanted to ask you, as you mentioned, there are a lot of children around the world who are losing one or sometimes both parents to COVID. As a society, collectively, what can we do to look after these children? What can we do to protect them, to secure their futures? I know that here in India, there is great worry that for these children that are left behind, that they could be exploited, that they could have futures that are dashed. What can we do, Maharaj, in our best? What is the best that we can do to ensure that these children are protected and have secure futures?
Lara, you are just such a compassionate person. That's such a question is springing from your loving heart. Thank you. It begins with asking this question with the spirit of real care, because these children, they may not be biologically ours, but they are part of our human family. And the strength of the nation of India and the world is going to be built upon how we care for these children. And we cannot even imagine the shock, the confusion, the disorientation of a child that suddenly loses parents. Whatever families around, need to take, their extended family as their own. The governments, various social organizations, we need to come together to sincerely address these problems and put our compassion in the form of property, resources, money, educational facilities to give hope, to give light. Sarve Sukhano Bhavantu. The very basis of all dharma is our desire that all living beings be happy. Yes, we really do need to take responsibility for these children.
So, Maharaj, we want to thank you so much for joining us today. We are eternally grateful and honored that you could join us and share so much of this. This is a really relentless humanitarian effort, and we need to inspire each other to contribute. And I think your message of really connecting with our inner self, of finding compassion, finding that love, looking at another person as not just biological, but looking at that soul in that other person and caring, is really and truly the message and the need of this hour. So, Maharaj, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing these beautiful narratives and these beautiful, powerful lessons.
Thank you. At times of crisis like this, the universal understanding of spirituality is so crucial for us to deeply understand and to unite for the common cause of compassion. And I'm so grateful to you, Lara, and to Shamala for bringing us all together for this purpose.
Thank you so much. Thank you. कितने आदमी थे? किसने सोचा कि गब्बर भी दो होंगे, एक शोले में और एक हमारी क्रिकेट टीम में? बहुत कम खिलाड़ी हैं जिन्होंने ऐसी जगह बनाई है क्रिकेट और क्रिकेट फैंस के लिए. An inspiration to youth across the country. Please welcome Shikhar Dhawan.
Hello.
Hi, good evening, Shikhar.
Hi, good evening, Lara. How are you? All good? Hello, everyone, and thanks for inviting me for such a great, noble event, and really grateful for it.
थैंक यू शिखर. शिखर, आप जिस मुकाम पे खेलते हैं वहां प्रेशर और स्ट्रेस कोई नई बात नहीं है, लेकिन ये स्ट्रेस, ये एंजाइटी बहुत अलग है. इस बार आपको क्या करना पड़ा टू स्टे फोकस्ड एंड टू स्टे पॉजिटिव?
बिल्कुल, ये जो स्ट्रेस है, एंजाइटी है, टोटली डिफरेंट है. और हम स्पोर्ट्स में भी जब मैच खेलते हैं तो सारी चीजों से गुजरते हैं. तो इस सिचुएशन में काम रहना बहुत जरूरी है. मेंटली एक जो महाराज जी अभी इनर पीस की बात कर रहे थे, वो होना बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि सिचुएशन टफ है, बट जो वो एक्सटर्नल सिचुएशन है, लेकिन इंटरनली पीसफुल रहना जरूरी है और स्मार्ट रहना जरूरी है कि क्या मूव करना है. एज इन कभी हम जब मैच खेल रहे होते हैं तो हमें पता है कि इस वक्त थोड़ा डिफेंसिव खेलना है. अभी सिचुएशन डिफेंसिव माइंडसेट की डिमांड कर रही है. तो उसी तरीके से लाइफ में इस वक्त अगर if I'm going to go aggressive and going to go out, so I'm going to be in danger. So I would rather be smart, even if I'm missing out on few things. I'm not training the way I was, and I'm a very energetic person. I'm not able to do all those stuff. So I'm being calm, then I'm holding myself. It's all right. It's just a phase and it will pass. And then I can again regain that momentum. Yeah.
Shikhar, in cricket, teamwork is an essential part of success. And right now, in this fight against COVID, we really need to come together as a team. So, what are the important things that you think people need to remember right now that make a team gel together and work together?
Yep, absolutely. I feel the most important thing right now, it's not about what can we get in our team, what can we give, what can we provide towards the team. So this is, as Maharaji said, that whole world is one big family. सो जिसकी जो कैपेसिटी है, अगर मालिक ने हमें उस स्तर तक बख्शा है कि हम दे सकते हैं किसी को, चाहे वो नॉलेज हो, चाहे वो पैसा हो, चाहे वो कुछ भी हो, तो ज़रूर देना चाहिए, ज़रूर शेयर करना चाहिए, ताकि किसी अगर एक की जान या एक की ज़िंदगी बदल सकती है. That's a big thing, and I feel कि the way all we have got together and created this event and bringing so much goodness to the nation or to the world, it's beautiful and tremendous. And I feel our focus should be on giving. So once you give, you will attract more of happiness or whatever it is. But yeah, intention should be of giving.
Shekhar, we have this live stream is going out to hundreds of millions of people on platforms because people generously gave their platforms at an hour of need. What will be your message to those people who are watching this right now and thinking of ways in which they can make an impact?
All right. My message to everyone will be, first of all, be very mindful with what sort of information you're taking in. Because a lot of people must be watching lots of news, but on news it will be mostly negativity about this. So don't watch it, don't overwatch it, because it's going to play in your head. And listen to some spiritual music or positive stuff, because that this is the time where we have to show more character and more being strong internally, mentally, and create the right energy and vibrate on the right frequency so you can get more stronger. That's one thing I would request people to do it, and not talk about too much, and whatever safety measurements we have to take, we should take it, like staying in and keeping the social distancing and just cleaning your hand, all those stuff. And बस नेगेटिव बातें ना करें, पॉजिटिव बातें करें, अच्छाई देखें. अगर कितने लोगों का, तो कितने लोग हैं जिनको नहीं भी है, तो वो अच्छाई देखें और जो मदद कर सकते हैं वो मदद करें किसी भी तरीके से. तो मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा बस.
Thank you so much, Shikhar. You have always stood by your country in its time of need, and today you stood by us as well. We thank you so very much. I know that your presence here today makes a huge difference to the millions of fans that you have across the globe. And watching you today, listening to what you have to say, really inspires them as well, that we collectively have that responsibility to do whatever it takes responsibly to fight this and to make a difference. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you.
Everyone listening out there, you heard the messages from Guruji about compassion, about doing whatever little you can. Every little amount is a monumental effort. You heard Shekhar talk about the power of team, where we come together and we contribute, and this is your moment. So please click on the link and please donate.
We have just a few minutes to go. We've got somebody very, very special coming up, but these are your last few minutes to please make this count. A lot of people, everybody has come together collectively. You've heard everybody's thoughts today. This is your chance to really make that difference, to help that person, to save that life. You've heard everybody say it today, that every little bit goes. With that small amount of donation, doesn't matter how small it is, you could end up saving somebody's family and saving somebody's life. So if there is any hesitation, we beg you with joined hands to please click on that link and donate.
And with that, we have something really special. He was with us at the start of the show today, and his words have such a powerful reach that it galvanizes millions into action. Joining us again with an extremely relevant and timely message, we'd like to welcome back Shri Amitabh Bachchan.
Namaskar, my name is Amitabh Bachchan. I read recently that hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. The author meant to express the notion that actions are more important than words. Yes, there is a certain unassailable reasoning when you look at it that way. But, like many pithy sayings, hope is not a strategy is often overused, and we miss the very point of hope. Yes, hope alone is not the strategy. But when hope guides our actions, great things are possible. Every day we all hear of amazing human stories of people coming together to help each other. Every day we discover more evidence of the indomitable human spirit, of the selfless actions of our frontline workers and COVID warriors. And every day the darkness turns to light because people choose to come together and stand together. This evening, we are again coming together, guided by hope, that in doing so, we will all contribute in our fight for India. We must believe that great things are possible when we come together. Our history is testament to the fact that every time we have come together as a people, we have achieved the impossible. Today, the challenge before us is daunting, but it will always fall short of our collective resolve to win. So I say to you that hope is not a strategy. Sometimes it is the only strategy. Let hope guide our thoughts and actions. Let's come together. Let us all come together for India. Namaskar.
Amitji, your words always so eloquently convey the gravitas of a situation, and one cannot help but be moved to action on your command. We thank you once again. Thank you so very much. Gurudev, or Guruji, as he is fondly called by millions of devotees across the globe, is a humanitarian leader, a spiritual teacher, and an ambassador for peace. His humanitarian efforts through the Art of Living Foundation have provided relief to people in war-torn countries, victims of natural disasters, communities in conflict, and marginalized societies. Inspired by his vision of service, hundreds of volunteers continue to drive these projects forward and work relentlessly all across the globe.
As a spiritual teacher, he has brought yoga and meditation to the forefront and offered it as a means of holistic living and a stress-free life. As humanity comes together to overcome one of the greatest crises we faced in our lifetimes, there is really no one better to guide us than the person who spent an entire lifetime unifying people from all over the world to live a stress-free, violence-free life. Please join us in welcoming Gurudev, Shri Shri Ravi Shankar.
Namaskar.
Jai Gurudev, Guruji.
Namaskar. Lara and Shamal, wonderful. You have taken up this initiative. I breathe for India. You know, we all have to breathe. I mean, breathing is the basis of life. And this is the time that we all come together and do what is most needed in the society. Let me congratulate the whole team and that you are uniting all the NGOs, everybody to come together and do the work. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Gurudev. Gurudev, this second wave that we're experiencing has been so much more fatal. You know, in the first wave, people were struggling with loss of employment, they were struggling with mental health issues. But now they're dealing with death and they're dealing with loss of loved ones. It's really such a dark time because it was so unexpected. Gurudev, what is your message on how one should approach dealing with loss or dealing with death when everything feels so unfair and so uncertain?
Whether in this time or any time, death creates a vacuum and creates grief. Now, this grief is not in one location or here or there. It is widespread. At this point, I would ask people to just look inward, see the reality of life, and come out and help others. Unless we share our grief with others and we keep it ourselves and get locked within ourselves, one thing is it causes psychological imbalance within us. And when we don't share with others, our grief doesn't become lighter. To handle that grief, we need to be part of service activity. When you are engaging yourself in service activity, in serving the people. See, there are about when I just gave a call to doctors, about 5,600 doctors who were either retired or who were taking their life easily after finishing their assignments. All of them jumped in one call and they all came together and they are serving now. So, like doctors are serving and individuals are going and serving in different areas. I want people to participate, especially if you have lost someone very dear to you. Know that the same pain is being inflicted all around you. Why not be part of sharing their grief and give them a hand? This is one way to do it. The second thing is, this is the time we need to see life, which we take it for granted most of the time. We take breathing as granted for time, granted. So attend to your own breath. Meditation. Meditation will give you the much needed inner strength and solace, both. There are 2 S's that meditation does to you. Actually, you can say 3. It makes your mind more positive. Yes, mind. And then it brings you solace. And it brings the inner strength for you to move on.
गुरुदेव, इस माहौल में हमारे बच्चे सबसे ज्यादा अफेक्टेड हैं. उन्हें ऐसे लग रहा है कि उनका बचपन उनसे छीना गया है, that they have lost their childhood. मेरी 9 साल की बेटी हर रात प्रार्थना करती है and she says, Heaven, please send help. हमें ऐसे लग रहा है कि हमारे हाथ से ये बाहर निकल गया है, that we are really helpless right now. So how do we find the strength, Gurudev, to just keep fighting this, yet ensuring that we don't constantly keep making the same mistakes as we have in the past?
Yeah, we need to create more positive environment. So when people are engaged in doing some helps or some, helping others and creatively engaging themselves in something positive, one is able to channelize their energy in a more positive way. So, and then we should not watch too much of the news. Sometimes watching news of negative news all the time can affect children very badly. It can really make a very deep impression in them. So at this time, we also must bring out the value of compassion, being there for others, and that sort of. There are a lot of good things happening. Those things need to be highlighted, and see frontline workers, how much they are dedicated. They are role models. They are examples. And see how the doctors putting their life at risk and they are serving the society. When service reigns as the most important aspect in our life, this fear, hesitation, and others' grief, everything takes a backseat. That would be one thing to do. Second is, of course, breathing and meditation. This will help. Children need to be given. Their valor need to be kindled. Look, this is a big issue and we just don't sit and cry. This is the time to be a soldier, a warrior, to overcome this crisis. We have had big wars in the world. This is nothing short of a war. but you're fighting with an enemy which is unseen. So we need to kindle the war in the hearts, that warrior aspect in the hearts and minds of the children. That will help us to, overcome the depression. The mental health issue is the biggest issue, what we have seen in the past first wave as well. Now, around the world, people have to stay in, wear the mask all the time. It's affecting one's mental health. This has been an issue throughout the world. And here again, I would say yoga will definitely help, and it has proved to be of a big use. Doing some yoga, some physical fitness, meditation, and singing, and engaging in some activity will help.
Gurudev, you are here with us this evening, and there are a couple of 100 million viewers who are watching this across all our streaming platforms. We can't lose this opportunity of having you here with us this evening. So if we may possibly cultivate some of that S mind, as you were mentioning, or find some solace during this time, may we please request, Gurudev, if you will lead us through a short meditation.
Definitely. I'll just give a very small, few minutes of meditation. First of all, meditation is not something that you make a big effort. It is not difficult. It's not something you have to concentrate. Usually when you hear meditation, people think it's not for me, it's for those who are in their 60s or 70s who have nothing much to do. That concept should go. It's not so. Meditation is that brings inner strength, and it makes you feel physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally fit. So how do you meditate? I would say you sit comfortably and easily, first of all. And you don't have to keep very stiff. Keep your body relaxed. And, be at ease, number one. Then what you do is you pay little attention to your breath. Your breath is coming in and going out. Now, this is the first act we have done. We came into this world, we took a deep breath in, and then we started crying, right? And the last thing we would do on this planet, we breathe out, and everybody else will be crying. So let us pay little attention to our breath, sitting and be grateful that we are able to breathe and we are able to be alive on this planet. Okay, so let us close our eyes gently and pay attention to your own body. Your body is a precious gift to you from nature. Honor your own body. Take your attention to the top of the head and then gently come down. Bring your attention from the top of the head to forehead. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Keep them closed. Let's pay little attention to our ears. And gently bring our attention to our nostrils. Take a deep breath in and breathe out and relax your shoulders. Honor your own body. It's the most precious gift you have received in your life. Relax your shoulders, your arms, and your chest. Now let us become aware of our breath once again. Incoming breath energizes the body, and as we breathe out, there is some relaxation that's happening naturally. Let's pay attention to this phenomenon. सांस लेते वक्त शरीर को नई ऊर्जा मिलती है, सांस छोड़ते वक्त शरीर को विश्राम मिलता है। इस पर ध्यान दें। हर बार सांस छोड़ते वक्त शरीर को और थोड़ा ढीला करें। Every time you breathe out, relax a little more. Breath is the second dimension of our existence. Become aware of the air all around you and inside of you. Like fish in the water, we are in air. And take another deep breath in. And breathe out and relax even more. Now let's take our attention along with the breath. As we breathe in, we take our attention to the top of the head, and as we breathe out, bring your attention to your legs. Your legs and your feet. Again, let's take a deep breath in. Like waves of breath associated with your attention, going from top to bottom and vice versa. Let's move on to the third dimension of a mind. A body is like the wick of a candle. A mind is like the flame. शरीर बाती है तो मन ज्योति है। तीसरा आयाम है मन। इस वक्त जो भी विचार आ रहे हो मन में, आने देना, न रोकना न टोकना। Whatever thoughts are coming in the mind, just let them come. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, let them just come and they go the way they come. Let us be a witness to all that is happening right this moment in our mind. Some sensation, some emotions that might rise, and let them come. And they go the way they come. Another deep breath in. And hold the breath and let go. Take your attention to the center of your chest. Again, let us take another deep breath in and breathe out. As you breathe out, let go of all your efforts. सब प्रयत्न छोड़ दे और विश्राम करें. All is being taken care by a higher power. This is the time you relax in your own self. Another deep breath in and breathe out and relax more. You are loved, you are taken care. And may you radiate the love that nature has showered. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Slowly and gradually become aware of the body and surroundings. And you may gently open your mind. Wonderful. You should. I just gave you a little sample now. Now I think we meditated about 15 minutes or so. So 20 minutes you take for yourself. That will give you strength so that you can work the rest of the time with more energy, more enthusiasm, and you are able to handle this, grief and misery that's happening all around. Yeah, it gives so much strength to you to be of help, not just for yourself but for everyone around. Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you so much. At the end of that amazing session, we truly feel renewed in mind, body, and spirit to continue this fight and take it forward. We are so grateful for your time with us today. Thank you so much.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we've been going at it for 2 hours and some change. You've heard the same message from every single one of people. This is the time to really look beyond yourself, to look and see the pain of others, to feel the pain of others. Shri Ravi Shankar Gurudev taught us how to go within. His Holiness Radhanath Swami also taught us the importance of being compassionate and loving. Our cricketers spoke about the need to embrace teamwork and give to a cause. This was only possible because every single person put an agenda aside and gave whatever they could to this. And remember, this link is there, so please do the same in whatever shape and form you can. Let's give in some shape and form.
No, I definitely think so, Shamal. We've been so fortunate to have so many people come together in today. And this has been, like we've said, nothing short of a miracle of being able to put this together in the time that we've had. Some wonderful messages today. I think for us, the end of putting this show together was really to be not to leave. Everybody's been watching so much news, so much distressing news, things that they've been consuming over WhatsApp and things like that, that the idea was really to leave you with positivity, to leave you with encouragement, to leave you with inspiration, and to leave you knowing that you are not alone, that in this we are all completely together and connected. And that was the idea, the highlight of this entire 2-hour program that we've put together for you. We're most grateful to all of you who have contributed towards this. We just want to add, we've had a ticker tape running at the bottom of this screen, constantly updating you on the amount that has been collected. We have also received messages saying we've collected 3.12 CR already, crores already. And we have messages that have been received that we also have an additional 220,000 US dollars that have also come in, taking our total to almost, I think, 3.7 CR. And this is not including the generous donation from the Khosla family. And the link is going to be open for the next couple of days. Please, we encourage you to share it with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues, with your peers. For all of you who have donated, please do share this link. We encourage other people to come share whatever that you can with us. As Maharaj Ji said, even the little squirrel can make a mountain of a difference. So please do come, please do join us. Please help us make a difference to India's COVID fight.
Absolutely, Tara. We'd like to really once again make a very, very special thank you to the people who made this event possible, our partners, the ones who put the first $1 million on the table, Thai Global. Without your kindness, without your compassion, none of this would have manifested. You were the one who struck the match that lit this most beautiful fire that brought warmth into every single person's heart. And hopefully we can now take that warmth forward. So to Thai Global, thank you so much. To our other partners, the Khosla family, we are eternally grateful for your $1 million donation. To Deutsche Bank, who also came on board and donated $500,000, we thank you. This is going to go far and wide in helping in this fight against COVID. We'd also like to make a very special thank you to every single one of our celebrities who've come across from all fields, actors, sportsmen, spiritual leaders. They didn't just give us their time. Most of them gave us their time and lent us their entire platforms. This was remarkable. This was streamed to more than 400 million screens in the country. And that was only possible because of the kindness and generosity of celebrities who came and generously gave us their platform. People were giving us their platform to stream this right up until the last second this event began. Ashwin Ravichandran and Shekhar Dhawan's platforms came in right then, and we're eternally grateful. So to every one of our celebrities who participated, a massive thank you. To our streaming partners, we couldn't have done it without you. We came to you and we knocked on your door at the last minute, and you responded with the most remarkable form of generosity and kindness that you could present. To Sony, to Voot, to Mazalo, to Radio Mirchi, to Commune, to Salman Khan for his Facebook page, and all the other celebrities, every single one of them came and gave their platforms in some shape and form. We thank you eternally. It was your kindness that allowed this message to go even further and even deeper.
For sure. And lastly, but most importantly, to all of you who have joined us over this 2.5 hours now, and contributed from the goodness of your heart to help the people of India from all over the globe, not just Indians, but people who have also been non-Indians, who have been moved by what is happening, what is unfolding in India today. We thank you. We thank you for your empathy. We thank you for your donations and your generosity.
As we come to a very close, we have a few more videos that will play, and these are really important messages from really key donors who we knocked on the door at the last minute, and they came and they heard our call. Key donors from around the world who are with us in India on this fight. So please stay there. These are heartwarming messages from CEOs, founders of companies, venture capitalists who are there with you every single step of the way. From me, Shama Vabji.
And me, Lara Datta. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Jai Hind.
Hi, Sachin. Thank you very much for joining us. You are the CEO of Builder.ai, and we'd like to thank you very generously for your $100,000 sponsorship towards I Breathe for India. Can you please walk us through what actually motivated you to do this?
Thank you so much, and especially for making an event like today happen in such short time. Look, I think last year, COVID has, for many of us, if not all, been a crucible moment. And this really dawned on me in sort of the most unusual ways. Last year, we were talking to our son and teaching him about the dinosaurs. And when we got to the part about extinction, he sort of stopped me and asked, he said, "Papa, did the coronavirus wipe out the dinosaurs?" My son is 4 years old. And if the impact to him has the ability to rewrite history, it made us realize that this was not just a medical outbreak, but something where our collective response was going to determine how the world, the communities we've benefited from, and humanity sort of got back in gear. At Builder.ai, we realized this meant coming together. It needed us, our peer group, and quite frankly, every company to punch above our collective weight. The response to COVID needed to be outsized, even for a very young tech company like ours. The Builder.ai strategy started with knowing what we do best, our ability to rapidly build software that gives people a disproportionate chance of getting back to normality. From our early work on COVID spread detection, we realized that software was going to be critical to allow people to engage in the real world, in the physical world, and was going to be a necessity when the virus was over. Otherwise, the devastation would still remain. Quite frankly, many companies can't afford, can't access, don't use software. And we're providing our studio store for free to any small business so that they have a chance to replace their physical store with a digital one. We've extended a COVID passport system that can authenticate vaccinations and allow people to meet again in the real world, free for any state, any city, any nation. And shortly, we're releasing a free return to work system that makes it safe to go back to the office, things like staggered entry, medical assistance, which plugs into the individual efforts that we're doing, that companies may be doing, from oxygen concentrators to medical assistance. You know, one of the things, and especially around this cause, is we reached the bandwidth of our ability. We thought this was the best way to extend the impact that we were doing. And Shama, look, ultimately, COVID has given the world a chance to unite around a single common enemy and shout together that we shall prevail.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's such a powerful message, because it's true. It has given us a reason to unite. And you're sitting in Singapore helping us fight disease in India. We are eternally grateful. Everyone who's behind the I Breathe for India campaign, every single person in India is eternally grateful for your contribution. Thank you so much to you and to your entire team who's working amazingly on the ground.
And thank you to you guys as well. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. Deutsche Bank has been working with Give India for more than a decade, and it's a privilege to one more time associate on COVID medical relief for the cities of Pune, Delhi and Mumbai. With this program, which is on top of what we did last year, we intend to provide oxygen concentrators in Pune and oxygen cylinders as well as hospital beds in Mumbai and in Delhi. This program should support COVID patients of about 75,000 across these three cities. And through other programs with other NGOs, we will provide support to 200,000 beneficiaries. I'm very glad that Give India is furthering its reach so that more of us can join towards the worthy cause, because this pandemic requires all of us to join in. My best wishes also to I Breathe for India's virtual campaign. And with this, I'll sign off. Thank you and stay safe.
The ethos of TIE in the last 30 years has been in fostering entrepreneurship through networking, funding, incubation. We believe entrepreneurship is the key for the progress of the human race. Our way of giving back is by developing startups and making a positive impact for the generations to come.
The devastation in India is so close to home for many of our community, and it's impacting everyone, even beyond the Indian diaspora. people have families, friends, colleagues, and business associates who are affected on the ground. As a community, we couldn't just sit back. Our ethos of give back brought a sense of purpose, and the entrepreneurial zeal just kicked in.
Thai Singapore took the lead and kick-started the Mission India initiative, galvanizing chapters, their respective members and partners to help raise funds in this hour of need.
Thai being an organization that is run by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, we were very quick to galvanize the entire network on the ground and understand the opportunities that we should take to optimize what resources we could find for the pandemic.
Mission India started with seeding the retail fundraising channels that allowed us to evaluate and conduct due diligence the number of agencies on the ground. This ensured that we were geared up to work with the most effective deployment options where it's needed.
The way we planned Mission India was to focus on immediate near-term and short-term goals to ensure that we are well equipped to support the organizations on the ground.
As I reached out to Lara and Shamal, they were overwhelmed at the unconditional response from many leading celebrities who made their time available at very short notice. We now request the corporates to donate large sums of money and help make this event a bigger success.
Finally, what counts is getting relief to people on the ground. IIT alumni in Singapore have been a great funding partner. In addition, our collaborations with Mission Oxygen and with Swasth and Red Cross have been fantastic.
Beyond just fundraising, TAI is working closely with different stakeholders to identify the right agencies to work with on the ground, procure and source the required medical equipment and supplies, and ensure that we are the best positioned to help our partners on the ground.
This global fundraiser, I Breathe for India, would not have been possible without our key sponsors, including Deutsche Bank, as well as the seed sponsor, a key veteran entrepreneur and investor from Silicon Valley, who was sure to underwrite the event with a check of $1 million.
We're really blessed to have the support of various media channels like the BBC, CNA, Straits Times, Connected to India, who have covered the whole Mission India initiative and supported us at a very, very real time along the process.
At TAI, we'd like to thank our partners, viewers, celebrities who helped us do the fundraising. We couldn't have come this far without them. And we hope as we go through this, that India continues to recover and come out strong from the COVID. Thank you very much for watching this.
Friends, 4,000 deaths today, that's what reported. I don't know what the real number is. And some agencies forecasting 1 million deaths in India. We can't let this happen. Let's support our country. Let's support in every possible way. Every life saved means a lot. I think some of us know that personally. Let's contribute, let's support, let's do it now.
Hello everybody. Basil Partners and our portfolio companies consider it our fortune to be able to do our bit at this crucial time for India. We have always tried to follow the principles of earn with integrity and spend with compassion as enshrined by our earlier speaker and my spiritual teacher, His Holiness Radhanath Swami. His charities have always been the largest stakeholder in Basil, and it is by their blessings that we have achieved whatever little success we can. I humbly urge all of you to do whatever you can. Thank you.